What's up? Eric here. Eric the Conqueror. Uh, yeah, what did I want to say? I wanted to tell you, uh, I actually I got up a little while ago, maybe half hour ago. It was 10 o'clock. I actually couldn't put down a book yesterday, so I stayed up pretty late, and I told myself next chapter, until I ended up finally finishing it. It was actually called The Blinding Knife, and it was a pretty damn good book, I'd say. I mean, it's fantasy, but I think it's important to read fantasy as well as fiction like just to dilute your thoughts a little bit, because if we always read intellectual or behave intellectually all the time, I think we kind of sap ourselves out of the energy out of that kind of energy, and we can become like boring and dull, and it kills our creativity. So inducing some sort of fantasy slash things of that nature that aren't 100% intellectual. I mean, it's a pretty adultly worded book, but yeah, it's pretty good. Uh, Also, I've been reading The Multi-Orgasmic Man lately, and it's a very interesting book. I mean, it aligns with with my already existing understandings of the central nervous system and the energy system and chi. I'm putting chi in quotation marks because even energy. But anyways, yeah, it's pretty interesting to me, and to give it some perspective, it really touches face with a couple things I've been learning about plants. Uh, like yesterday, I learned that. Well, I already knew it was already apparent, but like it wasn't like nobody had confirmed it, but it had confirmation, and that is that you can manipulate so many aspects of a plant's life. It's not even like cool. It's like you can manipulate the soil and change how it's growing. You can manipulate the light. That's a little bit harder to do, and change how it grows. And you can even physically, like through pruning and cutting certain areas, you can induce it to grow a certain way. Uh, and in the end, that comes out to the energy, because we're providing it with different chemicals to do different tasks and different forms of energy. And when we're cutting it, we're essentially like let's take a look at this tree over here. See how it's umbrellaing out a bit? That is actually a direct result of these lower branches being pruned. Oh look, there's spiders here. Oh, they're actually really apparent today. One here, one there, one there. I mean, it's cool. These guys connect to everything. Anyways, as I was saying, the lower half of this tree is pretty much shot. See these brown branches down here? They actually need to be trimmed out because they're sapping. They're making it more difficult for the tree to actually spend its resources and grow efficiently. So this tree definitely needs to be pruned. Same with this one a little bit. I mean, it's pretty good. This is gonna be a really thick tree someday. Like it's already thick, but things here to stay. I always find plant life fascinating. If you take this one over here, it grows in like even this one. It grows like you could even think that it's like a couple different trees, but it's actually just one, and it just branches out, and that kind of takes me back to my original point that everything is just the same. Like if we look at if we compare the macro world to the micro world, like it's essentially the exact same thing, just in a different scope. like it's kind of like fractaling. Is that if you're familiar with it? It's like a river will split off into more rivers, making more rivers, and those rivers are all made of little rivers. Just like our veins are, like we have our heart, and then that splits off into arteries, and those arteries split off into veins, and those arteries split off into smaller veins, and then uh, yeah, and it's just, I mean, we can look at our universe the same way. We have a giant sun, and then we have planets rotating around that, and then smaller planets rotating around that. So, or moons, if you will. And that kind of reminds me, that spot on reminds me of an atom, because an atom has a neuron and a positron. A neuron and I forget. I'm going through a mind blank right now, but either way, it has a center, and then it has electrons orbiting around that center. And it's really cool to me. I don't know. I love that concept. And then if we take it one step further, we probably, in the grand scheme of things, have super giant galaxies, and then galaxies rotating around those galaxies. And then if we want to conceptually take it another step further, we could have a big dense universe in the middle, a universe of nothingness, if you will, and then a bunch of multiverses floating around that. At least, I don't know. I don't know how I got here right now. Oh yeah, fractaling and trees. So yeah, you can manipulate a tree in a lot of different ways. Or any plant, for that matter. And like topping the tree off will make it grow like wider and bushier, because the nutrients are no longer being spent to keep the top lush. Anyways, uh, that's all I got for now. Remember to like and share if you enjoyed my content. Uh, Facebook.com/Eric the Conqueror, or uh, YouTube.com/user/the Sandman 047. I don't know what it is, why it's that, but it is what it is. And those are the links. Comment down below if you have any suggestions. Peace.